So this is going to be a personal video. We're going to talk about personal finance and the things that have helped me or challenged me. So all the videos that I do are always based on my personal experience. They're based on things that I've gone through or I've learned from. And this video is going to be 10 things that have helped me or challenged me, warts and all. So number one, proper planning prevents the proverbial poor performance. I have gone through the predominant part of my early years, formative years, without a financial plan. I just kind of lurched from one thing to another, hoping that it would all be okay. What did that teach me? That's right, proper planning prevents the proverbial performance. If you haven't got a plan, you're just going to lurch from one thing to another and hope that it goes all okay. But that relies on everything to go okay. You've got no means of preventing it from happening. You just carry on. And you then blame it on everything else. Actually, having a plan means that you can follow the plan and deal with those uncertainties as they turn up. Have a backup plan. Backup plan, what do you mean, Mike? You just talked about planning a minute ago. Yeah, I've got a plan. Yeah, done that. Yeah. A backup plan. What I mean by that is have some money that you can fall back on. We've talked about savings on earlier videos and the advantage of doing that. Those savings don't have to be huge, but what you want to make sure is that you have enough saved in a pot that it can cover your expenditure for 1 month. If you don't have that, something happens. The bath breaks. Something goes wrong. Without that backup plan, you're sat going, I can't afford to do that. And you can't have a bath, shower, whatever it happens to be. That savings pot could save your life. Credit cards are not the answer. Credit card companies, certainly, if you go back 25 years, yes, that's right, I'm that old. I had hair at some point. It was dark at some point. But credit card companies sold it on, oh yeah, you can have a credit card and you just pay it off next month. The problem is you get into this instant gratification stuff. Right, I'll just buy it, I'll put it on a credit card, I can pay it off next month, it'll all be fine. Next month comes, no, I'll do it next month. Interest, all of that stuff happens. The credit card is not the answer to your problem. It can be a means of resolving an issue, but it's not the answer to everything. Debt needs to be repaid. That's right, shocker, who'd have thought? I go and borrow some money, I've got to repay it. Yeah, I know you've got to do that. A lot of what has happened in our financial world over the past 30 years, let's say, is we have got into a cycle where we have borrowed money against houses, credit card, whatever it happens to be, and we've worked on the premise that when we come to, repay that, refinance that, we will be able to do that. That's not the world we live in now. Interest rates have gone up. The base rate has gone up to 4%. That is significantly higher than it has been probably for most of my working life. And that's quite a shock. When you go, well, that's 4%. Wow, that's really high. I remember days early on that it was 10%. And then it was really hard. But we have to get away from the view that we will be able to refinance ourselves at a cheaper or the same rate, because that's not the case anymore. Buying a house is better than renting. That's always been the case. The problem that we have now is that if you are trying to rent a property or you are renting a property, there is every likelihood that when you go to borrow money and buy a mortgage company is going to go, just because you're paying the rent and our mortgage is slightly less, well, that doesn't mean that it's financially viable for you. The stress tests that are being put in place are really stringent. The banks are afraid of what happened in the 90s, and they are actively trying to stop it. So buying a house is always going to be better than renting. It's going to be, but it's going to be increasingly hard to do against the backdrop of everything has got more expensive. How do I save a deposit? There is no such thing as free money. Yep, I've talked before about free money. Don't work on free money. That's right, it's not free. You switch a bank account and the bank account offer is £250 free. Brilliant, okay, that's great. So you go and do that, you get your £250 and you spend it on your chocolate wockaloola, whatever it happens to be, thing. But they don't move your direct debits over correctly. or they miss a direct debit, or something happens, before you know it, that £250 that you've saved, you think you've saved, and is free, might not be, because you've got a financial penalty because you haven't paid a credit card, or you've missed a loan repayment, or something has happened. So free money, there is no such thing. Don't rely on it. Don't trust it. If something looks too good to be true, it is. Spoke to somebody recently, and they said to me, right, okay, I've got this deal that if I give somebody £10,000 today, they're going to give me £20,000 in 2 weeks. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds great. Martin, do you think that's a good deal? My automatic response, and I'm an accountant, so I am the most cynical person in the world. No, that doesn't sound a great deal. And when I did a bit of research, it clearly wasn't going to be a great deal and would probably mean that they lost their initial investment. Maybe it might work for 2 cycles. So it tends to be these things go, yeah, give me £10,000, I pay you £20,000 back. Right, so, oh, do you want to lend it to me again and I'll pay it again? And then the third time, maybe it just disappears. Those things look too good to be true. And they are, and you can't afford to get into doing those things when you're trying to manage your personal finances. It will just put more stress on you, and stress is bad. Mental health is a big thing. And I found over time that financial events can trigger my mental health more than I thought they probably could do. And those times can become really black and difficult. And you look for the instant hit, the instant win. How can I get out of this really quickly? There is no easy way to get out of it. But if you've got a plan, if you've got the backup, if you've got a savings pot, if you build all of those things, it will help to reduce your stress and help you to manage your mental health in relation to personal finance. It's not the only driver. By no means am I saying financial health means that you will have good mental health, because that's really not the case. But if you can manage your finances in a better way and have those support mechanisms built up, it will help manage stress. It is a fact that managing stress helps with mental health. Without the stress, it will help you deal with the other things. Use loyalty schemes. I'm a massive one to sign up to a loyalty scheme and not use it. I've got a Waitrose card. I go into Waitrose every single day and buy lunch. I tap my card because it says, have you got a Waitrose card? And I go, yes, I have. I've got a Waitrose card. I tap the Waitrose card. There we go. And I go, why am I tapping this card? Because it doesn't do anything. What does it do? And then I go, Martin, you should go away and find out about that. And do I go away and find out about it? No, because I'm lazy. I don't bother to do it because it's not important enough to me to do that. But contrast that with Nectar. I read a story recently that somebody had a Nectar card. They hadn't gone through, how do I link that to my shopping? So they sat there just after New Year and went, do you know what, I'm going to sort that out. So they did. And do you know what that did? That saved them 120 quid on their shopping. They got a free shop in January with their Nectar points that they hadn't linked, that they hadn't done anything about. So the moral of the story is, if you've got these loyalty cards, use them. Use them for the benefit that they are going to generate. Don't just sit there with it in your wallet, your handbag, whatever it happens to be, and go, I'll just tap that because that's fine. All it's doing is giving them marketing information. Right, fine, if you're happy to do that, brilliant. But a loyalty scheme should work for you and give you benefit and or the company. Tax doesn't have to be taxing. I am an accountant. We know that. We've talked about this before. That's what I do all day long. I do tax, I do accounts, I do all of that stuff. I don't find tax difficult. I also don't find dealing with HMRC and things like that difficult. HMRC are the tax authority in the United Kingdom. I don't find those things challenging. But on the other hand, I know lots of people that do find it hard. If you're finding it hard, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody about, like me, try and do some research on the internet, but bear in mind, looking for stuff on the internet, you're just going to get 1,001 different things. Talk to an expert, get the right advice at the right time, and then having got that advice, use it. Don't just go, oh yeah, I've got that advice, but I'll do that next week. Use it now because it will benefit you. If you're going to get a benefit from it, that's a positive thing. That's only going to help your personal finances. So the things that I talked about today are things that have helped me, that have challenged me, I believe have helped me get to where I want to be. But if you want to learn a bit more about things that can help you, why not check out our video about books that I've read that have helped with my finances.